Hey team, let's walk through your lesson on the tour of the West. We'll jump into present mode and then move to slide 2. So your learning target, your goal this week is that you can say what the features are that have drawn people to the West. And the driving question is, what are the features that have drawn people to the West? This video gives you an introduction to the West region and specifically the economy of the West region and how that has driven everything that happens there. On our instruction slide, we have a video of our tour, and then again, this is a link to the Google Earth tour if you would like to experience more on your own and investigate more. Are some really cool places to visit, especially Yellowstone National Park. And obviously there's a ton of places to visit along the West Coast, really all over the West region. Whenever we visit someplace new, I want you to think about 2 questions. What first attracted people to this place, and why are people still coming here today? So keep those 2 questions in mind as you go through the video tour. People first came to the West in search of adventure, opportunity, and sunshine. The West had beautiful places to explore. It had valuable natural resources. These resources included furs, gold, silver, and forests, and it had a climate that attracted farmers and movie makers. People still come to the West for adventure, opportunity, and sunshine. The adventures have changed. We now hike and ski in the region where Lewis and Clark once almost starved. The opportunities have changed too. Today, there are many jobs in the tourism and entertainment industries, but the sunshine is the same, warm and bright. All right, launching into slide 4 here. Again, we have our map, and you have 2 options. Identify and match the images on the perimeter of the page. So once we go into edit mode, you'll be able to see those with the locations we studied and visited on our tour. You can use the arrows, so you can move these arrows up here, or you can resize your images and move them to the location on the map. I added in the arrows because it's going to be really hard to resize for Tacoma, the Columbia River Gorge National Scenic Area, which is right here. A lot of these spaces are really close to each other. Just making sure that you had enough space, you can move and manipulate the arrows to get them to identify these places that we visited on our tour. All right, slide 5 is another activity slide. And this one is just directions. So suppose you are a tourist who has just taken a tour of the West. You will now write a letter home describing what you learned about the region. Use your reading notes to help you. Your letter must include these parts: the date, a proper greeting such as "Dear Isabel," an introduction that gives a general description of the West. So just in general, what's the West like? You need to describe at least 3 places you visited. Use plenty of details. Be sure to tell what was most interesting or memorable, what you now know that you didn't know before. And at least 7 of these words are included: river, mining, lumber, mountain range, tourism, ocean, irrigation, sugarcane, expedition, geyser, dam, and dog sled. At least 1 simple image or a drawing of a site that you visited, and a closing such as "Your friend Nisho." Make your letter at least 1 page, write a draft of your letter, then reread it, make any necessary corrections, and then type or neatly write your final draft in ink. So you'll do that final work. This is, again, all directions. You're going to do that final work on slide 6. So here's where you're going to put in your letter. And again, you could easily type it here. You could write it on a separate piece of paper with your own drawing. You could use the insert tool and go to the camera, take a picture and put that in there. However you want to finish this letter, that is up to you. We just need you to show your amazing thinking and have it in this activity on this slide somehow. Whether you type it here and insert an image from the web, or you write it on a piece of paper and insert your image via photo. And then on slide 7, which is additional activities or resources so you can learn and know more about the West region. This video talks about ILM, the Industrial Light and Magic, which is the movie studio where all of the special effects are made for Star Wars. And then more about Lewis and Clark's Expedition and Trail, a video about the best of Yellowstone, information about dog sledding and how dog sledding launched, a very fascinating video on the logging industry and how the boards are made and the process that goes through. And then a day trip to the Columbia Gorge, which just gives you some more information about this area on the border between Washington State and Oregon. All right, I'm going to jump back to slide 4. I'm going to exit out of my present mode into edit mode. And here are all of their images, which are the same images that you saw as we went through our tour. And you'll either be able to click, resize, and place your images on the map, or what you can do is you can grab an arrow and then you can match your arrow to that location and make it so all your arrows match. And then again, slide 5 is directions. Slide 6, again, these are just a shortened version of the directions on 5, so you have them on the same page. You can write your letter here. If you're inserting an image, you could go insert image, search the web, and then search for that. Or if you wrote out this on paper, you could go insert image camera, take a picture of it with your device, and then place that image right there. Your goal, like we said before, is that you can identify different areas, landmarks, and features that have drawn people to the West. That is your learning target, that is your goal, and that is what you're going to be able to do by the end of this lesson.